It's that time again.
Watch out!
Here it comes.
Watch out!
Here it comes.
Watch out!
Here it comes.
Watch out!
Welcome to the Courtside Podcast. I'm your host, Wayo, and with me, the People's Champ,
The champ is here!
Vince. Welcome back to the show.
The champ is here!
Oh, great to be back. It's going to be off the hook.
Off the hook.
Off the hook. Or hooks.
The hooks are off. And of course, we're joined by Sydney's second richest man, Stu Benson.
Good evening, gentlemen. It's good to hear both your voices once again, and we got a lot to talk about.
That we do. I'm almost a little bit... I think I'd be a little bit more sad about the season ending if the draft wasn't this week.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that we're down to 0 games now is kind of a little bit sad. But we should recap because, my goodness, guys, we have a new NBA champion, the Toronto Raptors, taking out the series in Game 6.
Yes, sir. As predicted, as called, as recorded on this podcast.
There's no real bragging rights on it either, really, because like even Vince, who picked the Warriors to win, was like, this could go either way. Like, we were all like, this series could really go either way. And my goodness, injuries really kicked in for the Warriors.
Yeah, and I don't want to hear anyone say, not talking about you guys, I'm just talking about the world in general, say, oh, you know, if the Warriors didn't have all those injuries, you know what, no one's going to care. History will show the Raptors won, and no one will remember the injuries, just like I think they beat Cleveland in, was it 2015? Where they had Love out and Irving out. So, yep, don't want to hear about it. It's a great win. It's still a great series.
Fantastic series. Yeah. I mean, look, we said at the start of this, series that, you know, Toronto had so many weapons to throw at them. And, you know, like in saying that, you know, you couldn't count out the champs either, the former champs, because, you know, they've been there, done that before as well. And, I mean, when you got two of the game's greatest shooters on your squad, you're always going to have a chance.
Yeah, I agree. Give me something to work with, and I'll give you something.
Whoa, it's going to be one of those nights. All right, cool. So,
I was listening. I thought you were going somewhere with it.
I was leaving it open.
Not that you didn't go somewhere. Not that you didn't go somewhere with it.
Well, I just thought I'd leave it open in case anyone want to jump in. But hey, everyone's been polite tonight, so we'll run with it. All right, well, look, let's get into this a little bit deeper and pull away all the fluff. Durant going down with his Achilles. Man, I don't know, like, people are, like, comparing this injury to Kawhi Leonard and, you know, that Durant should have never been on the court. I mean, maybe that's so, but it's not as if Durant was... You know, I feel like this is a totally different situation to the Kawhi one. Kawhi obviously wanted out as well. At least at some point, Durant wanted to get in there and play. Like, he wanted to get in a place. Like, people are throwing the team doctors under the bus about this. I mean, what do you guys think about this?
Yeah, you go. Well, first of all, two things. It was alleged it was a calf injury, okay?
Yeah. We all knew it wasn't, right?
Well, that's what they said, right?
Did you... Wait. But did your eye test tell you that? Because I didn't feel like it was calf when I saw the injury, the initial.
It was... I think I messaged you and I said, gee, his ankles where his Achilles is. So they said it was a calf, so you're like, okay, it's a calf. I thought if it's torn, he won't come back. If it's a strain, he might be able to play some games. I guess they were thinking if it was a calf and it was misdiagnosed, well, the worst he would do is tear it again. We're down anyway. We may as well give it a run. And if he agrees, you know, even if it's 80%, he's still better than anyone else they've got on the bench. But I heard today that it might have been misdiagnosed and he had a partial tear, and then it snapped on him.
Far out. That's
yeah, it hasn't been confirmed yet. Maybe it'll come out, maybe it won't. But if it was a calf, I have no qualms in giving it a run because they were down, they had nothing to lose, and geez, they looked totally. This team had a different feel about him when he was on the court making buckets.
Yeah,
they just looked so different. Yeah, look, I don't know. It was to get what he got out of it. If it was a partial tear, he did bloody well.
I just think the amount of doctors, the amount of scans, the amount of testing, the amount of, he was off for, how long was he off for?
4 weeks.
Was it a month?
4 weeks, yeah.
Yeah, for a bit.
I just find it very hard that it could have been misdiagnosed with the imaging that they have and the accessibility to world-class, treatment and scans and all that sort of stuff. I don't know. Look, obviously it was tight. Obviously it snapped, and we can't turn back time. But I think going into that game, he felt good. He wouldn't have risked the payday. And no one's going to risk snapping an Achilles and that rehab and that grueling path back to maybe get back to 90% of the player you were. No one's doing that for a championship. This is a back-to-back finals MVP, back-to-back champion. I just think that, unfortunately, it must have obviously been tight and it's gone on him. But I don't think he played knowing he had an injury. Yeah,
look, it's just injuries are part of the game, and Warriors had two big crucial ones happen to them during this series. We saw Durant go down in that Houston series, and we saw Houston not take advantage of that. This is exactly what Toronto did. They, like I said, I think they win the series anyway. But it was it's just one of those things. The Clay one, I felt really bad about. I know you spoke about Vince, people saying that Warriors would have won the series without all the injuries. I think they definitely win that game because Clay was just cooking. Like, he was just looked like he was set to have one of those big games. And, I think maybe Raptors get him again in that game 7. But I felt really bad for the Warriors when he went down with that. And you could tell he wanted to, we all see him come back out and shoot the free throws because if he didn't shoot them, he was allowed back in the game anyway. And then him sort of that little scurry run back on defense. But man, I felt bad when he went down.
Yeah, two injuries I hate: Achilles and the knee rego. But Clay will come back; he'll be fine. Knee regos today, they're pretty good. It's the Achilles that worries you.
Yeah, I think the same. I think Clay definitely, with his game, particularly what he does, look, he might lose a bit of a step defensively, but I still don't think it's going to affect his lift or his stroke and his ability to create his own shot. I think he's, of the two, I think he's probably got the best prognosis in terms of coming back. Yeah. But again, just play off basketball. Like, there was nothing in that. Danny Green almost got it clean. Like, it was just one of those things, man. Like, it was just a tough play. It was a hard landing, and you wouldn't wish on anyone. But I think he's going to be okay. It could have been one of those brutal, dislocations or a snap. I think it seems like it was pretty textbook. So I think he'll be back, and I think you'll probably get paid some pretty good money to sit out next season as well.
Yeah. Sean Livingston was on the sideline having flashbacks. He's like back in Nam. Like, he was, run again. The knees. I'm sorry.
Yeah, far out. I'll tell you what, though, he whilst they obviously didn't win, and we've got new NBA champs, he did give them good minutes, and I thought Livingston was one of the standouts for them in filling in for this ragtag group that Kerr had to put together. Even Looney playing through that collarbone injury was pretty brave.
Looney was great. That's the thing. Like, this Warriors squad is just made up of guys who've been there, done that. Champions fall. This is not the first NBA Finals this Warriors team's lost either. Just before we jump into Toronto, I suppose we should have a little peek into the future for this Warriors squad. Man, I don't know, like, I find it a bit ridiculous. People are online calling, it's the end of a dynasty. Warriors are done for. Like, this is it. The team's going to be broken up. It's like, calm your farm. Like, it's injuries. Like, these guys are young as well. They're not having these injuries late into their career or anything. I think this is a really good opportunity for Golden State to re-up a little bit. I still think they should throw max money at KD. and at Clay. I'm not sure if KD stays. I think if New York gets their act together and throws a big max deal, hey, he'll take it. But in saying that, I feel like this is a good opportunity for them to not so much take a year off, but develop some of those younger guys and fill out this roster a little bit more with some more pieces that can help.
Yeah.
I think KD stays, man. I really do. I even thought that. I think I said that to you before he even did his injury. Yeah. I was just going to the few days before he came back, I thought I just had a feeling he's going to stay, and I just think the injury makes it a bit easier for him to stay. And you know what? When they come back, they're going to be just as good.
Right.
Like this team will be just as good. There's that much freaking talent on here.
You know what will be dangerous about them, Vince, is that they'll have a chip on their shoulder. They'll have a point to prove.
That's exactly right. They'll be hungry. They'll have a chip on the shoulder. Bob Myers will get in some talent, some more bench, and it's not over. They're still going to be a contender.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like not next season, but when Durant and Thompson come back, Curry's still young enough. Green's still young enough. They'll be back.
Heavens forbid they have. Heavens forbid they don't make the playoffs and get a high pick that following year.
I'll tell you what, they should do that. They should just tank.
I think it's a good opportunity to develop guys, like all the young guys. Bring some. Obviously, they're going to have to bring some new young pieces in, but develop those. Like, what happened to Jordan Bell this year? Like, I feel like he really fell in the doghouse, and we're looking at him at like this, especially in the midway this year, looking at that kid going, man, he looks like Draymond's replacement right now. And then, he pulled that prank in the hotel with the coaching staff and doghouse.
He doesn't kick guys off the boards. He doesn't body up all the time. That's part of his problem.
Yeah, look, I'm very much the same as what you guys are saying, in the sense that there's no way that this thing's over. I do think they all come back. I think they'll find a way to make it work. I think given the valuation of the franchise, they know that they can get themselves into a pretty decent luxury tax threshold and still make a lot of money. They've got a new arena with bigger seating capacity. They'll be selling more tickets.
Yep.
They're an international draw card, so I don't think spending money is going to bother them at all. Padding this thing out a little bit to replace some of the vets that they'll lose either through retirement or free agency is certainly important to them. I give it a year off or so, and I think I genuinely, contention isn't on their radar next year, but maybe a decent draft pick, some rested stars, they'll be fine. Jordan Bell, I don't know, from what I had seen of him in the sparing moments that we did see him at the tail end of this season, and I think I was a little bit too hyped on him. Not that it's fool's gold. He's definitely got talent. I don't think he's what I thought he was. I thought, like you just said, I thought he was, almost a prototypical Draymond Green replacement. I don't think his basketball IQ is there. I think he's got a high motor on offense. I think that's where it stops.
I think the coaching staff put the leash on him a bit.
Yeah, quite possibly. He does some numbskully kind of things. But again, that's youth as well. Yeah. So maybe that's what that is as well. But don't write the Warriors off if they come back, and even if they're at 80% capacity, you're still going to have a handful if Draymond Green, Kevin Durant, Klay Thompson, and Steph Curry are all on the same court.
Well, the champs are here. The Toronto Raptors, guys.
Did you see Leonard on stage?
Yeah.
Yeah,
do his laugh.
That was so
good. Fantastic. See, he's a fun guy.
He's showing a sense of humour, sort of. It's eerie and awkward, but hey, it's there. Oh, man, I look really happy for the city of Toronto. Before we get into the celebration stuff, man, the fuck is wrong with people?
Okay. You talking about Drake?
No, 4 people shot during the fucking parade, man. Fucking serious. Of all things, that's a time where like Toronto should be really celebrating, and like it looked like the whole of Toronto was there. They didn't deserve that, and fuck, I just hope they drag those pricks through the ringer. Because it just, I don't know, man. I just felt really sad after that. I was like, you can't even celebrate your city's fucking championship, man.
Well, who was it? Was it a terrorist act or what? What's going on?
Nah, these are just fucking morons.
Peanuts.
Just took the shine off a bit. I mean, Luckily, I was cheered up pretty quick seeing Marcus Ol scull a bottle of wine in Savo, so that made up for it. He was so tanked.
Good on him because, you know, he was languishing at a pretty pitiful franchise before he got to Toronto.
Dare you?
A perennial loser. They were pretty good for a while. Good to see a guy who's been in the league for a while and he's probably on the wrong side of 30, but still serviceable. And now the Gasol get-togethers won't be as awkward because
He'll have one of his own.
Powell walks in with two rings, and now he can walk in with one. So
right on.
It's a bit less awkward.
I think you said it last show, Vince, and I think it was, for me anyway, echoed a lot harder in that Game 6 was Kyle Lowry. I mean, yeah, we've definitely hung shit on him, and rightfully so, in previous shows due to playoff performance. But, you know, I think I was saying a few weeks ago that they've really earned their scars during the playoffs, and it's, you know, maybe a little bit bittersweet for, you know, a guy like DeRozan who misses out, but, man, they got there, and hey, you know, it took a Kawhi Leonard to get there, but they fucking did it.
Well, DeRozan doesn't really miss out because they weren't winning shit with him there anyway.
That's true.
But yeah, that's true. Look, we gave Larry some shit, and it was deserved because what did Stu say? He ghosted a lot of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he came alive, and good on him. Like, we're stoked for him. And that Game 6, when he came out on fire.
Yeah.
And
he came out so strong, man.
And I was wondering the night before, going, he's either going to be affected by that game or game winner that he missed, and that hopefully someone's got into his head like Kawhi or something. I don't know if they did or not, but good on him. Like, fucking wrapped for him. It's just a feel-good sort of team, you know? Like, Serge getting a ring and Danny Green getting another and Larry getting his and, you know, Gasol. Yeah, it's just one of those teams where I think everybody likes, and there's guys on there that everybody likes and happy for him to get a ring.
Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I just think it's a feel-good story. You look down that roster and, you know, the names that you've just mentioned, and, you know, we got to watch breakouts by Fred VanVleet. We got to see, we got to see Siakam, top scorer or equal top scorer 2 games in an NBA final. Just, you know, proving that, you know, he's a guy that's going to get paid. Hopefully they can use him regardless of what Kawhi does as a franchise centerpiece or one of. You know, Serge Ibaka, you know, for a lot of the season, maligned in terms of minutes and how he was working into the rotation despite being there for a couple of seasons, and quite literally was having a block party. He was a huge part of their defensive scheme, and honestly, like, you could just, you know, a first-year coach in Nick Nurse, who I'm a massive fan of. How often do rookie coaches win championships? It's incredible.
Also, I discovered today that not one lottery pick on that Toronto roster.
Crazy, huh? Crazy.
Yeah, that's insane. I saw that stat.
What was I saying the other week? Like 12 or 16 G Leaguers or something on the rosters? Like, that's fantastic. Stu, what the hell did we just watch from Kawhi Leonard? What the hell? Explain it to me. I don't understand.
In terms of the body of work over the entire postseason, it's up there. It's all time. That guy did everything, and I'm telling you, he was running around on that groin was giving him trouble. You could tell him jogging back awkwardly on some sets, even all the way through to the NBA Finals. He was not 100% at all, but that guy just did everything. His spacing on his fadeaway is, honestly, I hate saying this. I hate saying things like this. The mechanics of it are like MJ. Like, it's incredible the way he lifts, and obviously his hands give him a big reach and a big push on that jump shot. His defensive tendencies and his wanting to take on the other guy's dominant ball handler is like Kobe. We've never seen anything like him before, but man, it's a shame he's not in the race for the MVP, or the MVP doesn't take into account the playoffs, because he'd be adding the Maurice Podoloff trophy to his cabinet this season. It was a masterpiece.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to ask you both. We talked about it previously, but I'm going to ask again. Was the championship enough to keep him in Toronto? Thoughts?
Oh, shit.
Is the housewarming fern enough to get him there? To keep him there?
I feel he's gone.
I feel he's gone.
And they're not pushing it, you know. They haven't been pushing it. Like I know Larry on the parade bus today or yesterday, wherever it was had the crowd chanting 5 more years, 5 more years. But I mean, as far everyone's keeping other than that, everyone's keeping their distance with it and not bringing it up and like letting him decide. But yeah, I feel like he's gone.
If you look at his cousin's Instagram, he's going. Yeah. He's leaving. But that could be him just stirring up shit. Yeah. When they won, I was like, how do you leave this? Like, you can't just do a one and done, can you?
Can't you?
It feels like he is. Some of the comments that he said, I don't know. Like, I'm not an expert on, you know, speech patterns and dialogue and dialect and the way in which people say things, but the way that he's non-committal seems just some of the narrative, like I came here to do this and I've done it. Like it's almost like he's done what he wanted to do. This was mission complete. Not a dynasty, not a back-to-back, not a three-peat. It feels like, I don't know, like he's saying like he's done it and he's out.
Yeah.
I mean, has anybody else heard that kind of vibe?
Just when you're on stage today and he, like the end, he said, you know, just have fun and enjoy it. I sort of got the impression like, have fun and enjoy it because I'm fucking off.
Yeah, that's the way.
That's when he said that.
Yeah, me too. This is for you, Toronto. Goodbye.
Yeah. So I think he's talked me into it a bit. I would like to see him stay, honestly. Even if it's just like a one and like one with a player option or team option. Player option. Sorry. I just think he's got to defend it.
I do too, and honestly, they legitimately could.
I think just go.
For sure.
I think just go. I think go. Like why? Don't piss in our pockets. Like you know, like this was always the plan that you know you never wanted to go to Toronto. You got traded there by the Spurs, who thought they would send you to another country rather than to the Lakers. Like just go be where you want to be and be happy. And you know, sometimes it works out that way. And I think this, you know, I don't think, like I said before, I don't think Toronto fans can be upset or angry about it. Like, you know, he didn't go there, just, you know, sign the big contract. He got traded there and, hey, he delivered them something beautiful that they'll always remember. But at the end of the day, you know, I think he goes back to LA.
But he's got to also think better the devil, you know. Like, he knows he's in a winning situation here. He's got good ownership. He's got good management. With Masai running the team. He's got a good coach.
Well, Masai could be gone.
Yeah.
He won't go.
Washington.
He wants to go to Washington.
Dude,
seriously.
but they're offering him stakes, man. That's not something you knock back. That's like...
Mate, Toronto will offer him something similar when his contract's up.
I don't know, man. Those owners are greedy. Washington's desperate. They're willing to give up stakes.
I just think... Yeah, I just think it'd be very hard to leave. But I don't know. I just...
We'll see soon enough, man.
I want him to defend it. At least give it another year or two. I don't know. I mean, he's in a winning situation. There's another run left in him if he stays, for sure. So
but I mean, there's also a big factor of luck, you know, like what it takes to win a championship as well. Like, there's also that factor. Like, you know, next time around, maybe he doesn't get the lucky bounce in Philly. Do you know what I mean? Like, he could have...
Or maybe they come out next year if he stays and they just fucking blow everyone away and go back-to-back, and then he goes, you know what, I'm giving you two, I'm out.
Maybe he really does his hamstring, you know? Like, who knows, though?
Who knows?
It was his quad, you dick.
Maybe it turns out that his auntie has balls.
Oh, God.
Let's not hypothetical all night.
But if he does leave, where does he go?
Off to the Clippers. Sorry. I know LA are going to chase him.
The Lakers chatter is getting louder.
I think he's off to the Clippers.
I don't think he goes to the Lakers. I don't think he goes to the Clippers either, to tell you the truth. Why would he go there?
I don't know, man. They looked pretty good last year.
Oh, turn it up, Wayne. Gee whiz. Yeah, look, I don't know. You probably go to the Clippers just to annoy me.
God, I hope he doesn't.
I think you're...
Me too.
Beard's rubbing the mic or something, Vince.
Mine?
Yeah.
There's definitely some puberty action going on.
You get
No, there's. Hang on a sec. My device is like miles away from me.
Is it? What's that noise then? Sound the alarm, gentlemen. The courtside alarm is going off.
He's done it again.
He's fallen for it again. My goodness, gentlemen. You guys.
This is my last podcast. I liked it better when he was quiet and hanging up on us.
Look, you guys were like little schoolgirls online the other day. It was fantastic. The trade finally went down for you guys. I'm actually really happy for you guys because now you get to bring in some top-tier talent next to LeBron James. Of course, I'm talking about the Anthony Davis trade. Woo! Man.
First of all, you're not happy for us at all.
Not one bit.
No.
I lied.
We know.
Well, we should definitely talk about the deal because David Griffin goes in and does what Dems couldn't? Wouldn't? I don't know how to address that. Couldn't or wouldn't?
It's a better deal because it's got the number 4 in it. So whether or not he did what he couldn't do, but it's a better deal.
I'm surprised they not let you keep Kuz, but I'm surprised that wasn't, a part of the deal. I thought they would definitely sort of demanded Kuz, but I mean they walk away with what they get 3 first rounders, including this year's number 4 pick in the draft. They get
4 first rounders, including this year.
4 first rounders. Oh
Yeah.
man, fuck. Okay, we'll get into that in a sec. 4, really? Fuck. Lonzo Ball.
Yes, Wayne.
Oh, I mean, I already thought it was a bit much. I already thought it was a bit much. But Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, Josh Hart, and 4 first rounders.
Oh, God. Lonzo.
I mean, we spoke about this, obviously, through the week and when it went down. Man, you guys gave up a lot of your future that you had there.
Okay, hang on.
Is it going to be worth it?
This is what fucking pisses me off.
Here we go.
Not you, Wayne, although you pissed me off.
Oh, come on. Give me some credit.
Okay. For the last 2 to 3 years, me, Benson, and all the other Laker fans have been told Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, Cole Kuz, but no one wants them. They're no good. No one knows how good Ingram's going to be. What is he? Is he a 3? Is he a 4? Kuzma isn't that good. Lonzo's bust. And then we make a trade for an absolute blue chipper, 26-year-old in his prime. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, we've given up too much. All of a sudden, these 3 guys, or 2 of them, Josh Hart, not counted as a future star, all of a sudden, we've given up too much. These guys are awesome. They're going to be awesome. All of a sudden.
Well, I don't think so much that. Like, I've stated
it is that, Wayne. You go online and have a look. All the chumps, and I'm talking about journos.
Yeah. Okay, I know what you're saying.
They're going, they gave up too much. The same journos who were saying that these guys were no good, they were busts. And they're not going to be as good as we thought they were. And Brandon Ingram wasn't worthy of a number 2 pick. Yeah, look,
my stance on it is, I can't speak for other journos and stuff like that because, hey, I'm not a fucking journo anyway. But my stance was when you signed them.
You're doing a better job,
mate. Well, my stance at the start of this last year, when you guys landed LeBron James, has and is that you to some extent give up your future when you sign a player like that. It should all be about winning now and surrounding him with the pieces to win now. Which now at least feels like you guys are. I don't know how you feel about it. I feel like you guys are back on track. All those first rounders, though, man, that's like I'm not questioning the talent that you had there because I feel like you needed to give that up to bring in the pieces for LeBron, but that's a lot of first rounders.
It is, but we still got you can't trade away like back-to-back first rounders, can you? So we're still going to have the odd first rounder in there, and there's not to say that we can't trade for a first rounder later on.
Sure.
Yeah. I think we'll be fine.
I just think at the end of the day, you've got to look at the big picture. And the big picture is we've just put 2 top 5 NBA talents together, and one of them is 27 years old. you got to do what you got to do. If that's on offer and that's on the table, you just do. You give them the Godfather offer. You give them what they want. I think we came away on top because we didn't give them coups, like you said, Wayne.
Yeah.
I just think that the fact that we have got LeBron James and Anthony Davis on the same team, and Kuzma, an emerging superstar, I couldn't be happier. I'm upset that we couldn't keep Lonzo and there was no structure or deal involved that we couldn't keep him. I would love him to have been a running mate with AD, but I understand that Griffin wants him to be a running mate with Zion. And I think that you couldn't have had a better, quicker, faster and more upbeat rebuild than New Orleans had in a span of a week. It's a great trade for both sides. It really is.
Oh, they jump like a major part of the rebuild process, right?
Huge.
With what they brought in. I mean, you're adding a player this draft that's going to put bums in seats as well. And just the run and gun. I mean, look, for as much turmoil and all the behind BS crap that happened last year for the Lakers, I think the young studs that you guys had there, those three, handled themselves really well in probably one of the most disorganized, dysfunctional messes I've ever seen following the NBA. And to see the numbers Kuz put up last year, and those guys just shut up and played, really. When you look at that body of work, and I think you guys did really well keeping Kuz. Jumping to New Orleans, like exactly what you said. Like this team, I'm going to be watching New Orleans games next year.
Oh, hell yeah. They're going to be exciting as hell. And, we're still not there yet. We're still not at draft day yet. We don't know, do they move up? Can they do something? I mean, they've now got tradable pieces. Can they get up on the board? Do any of those guys not end up playing for New Orleans? Do any of those guys get moved for a higher pick? Yeah. There's still a lot of intrigue around, and the word is that Griffin's not finished dealing.
Well, I read this afternoon that apparently there's an offer on the table for the number 4 pick for Bradley Beal.
Wow.
He's also wanting to draft Barrett. He's trying to move up.
Really wants Barrett.
That's a smart move, but I think he's safe. Actually, who's got it? Knicks, right? I was going to say I don't think Memphis are budging on Ja, but
what if he offers Memphis like pick 4 and Brandon Ingram? Pick 2.
I don't think they'll take it.
I reckon BI is going to be a star, man. Like to lose, like I've always backed BI and Lonzo. I miss fucking Lonzo already. But BI, people don't realise how good BI is going to be. And he's got the work ethic to go with it too.
Yeah, he's a slow burn, but he's going to be this guy that's going to be like year 5, and it's just all going to come to him. Like he's already that slow, methodical offensive player, and he's pretty bloody good defensively as well. I agree, man. I think that, as much as we love Lonzo, I think we know his ceiling's probably 10, 10, and 10. If you can go out and get your triple-double every third game, every fourth game, he's got that potential. But I think BI is going to be the gem in that trade.
Interesting. Yeah, I like what's happening with New Orleans. I'm super interested to see what happens over the course of the draft. I mean, obviously, I'm not really going to get into much more Lakers talk just because you've got so many positions still to fill.
We don't have a roster. You can't really talk about the Lakers.
Yeah. What I will say before we get off the Lakers, there's a lot of talk that we're going to try and sign guys like Leonard's on the radar, Jimmy Butler, God help me,
God,
Kemba Walker, Kyrie. I would, out of all those guys, I would take Kemba, but he's only going to come if he agrees to shave a bit off, just like the Miami Heat trio did when they all went down there.
Yeah.
They all shaved a bit off, but I would prefer if they sprinkle that 23, 24, whatever how much millions it is, sprinkle it around and get some quality vets and some quality role players and fill the roster out that way, because depth will help us win games.
I'd be looking for a shooter for you guys, because
KCP's
not going to cut it. But The piece I would be looking for is I'd be looking to bring back Rondo. He's already acclimatized to LA. He's already got a relationship with LeBron from last season. He's played with Davis, so I think you guys need something a little bit safe right now, and I think Rondo.
He's also played with that other guy that we're bringing in.
Oh yeah, who's that? Boogie Cousins.
I actually tagged Benson in
I saw it
on Twitter. Mike James is playing in Europe right now. I would be signing him post haste.
Oh yeah.
Oh, dude, kid can play. He played for Phoenix a couple of years ago and did really well. And they cut him. It was unexpected. He was putting up some really good numbers, and yeah, they didn't really explain why they cut him. I don't know what happened, but it was very very sus. I don't know what happened, but kid, trust me, kid can play. Oh, he's got to be at least 24, 25.
Man, honestly, his handles are ridiculous. His ability to space for his size. What is he, like 6'1" or something, 6'2"?
Yeah, I'm not sure on the height.
He doesn't look tall at all, but that scoop shot, holy crap. I need to check out his stats. I'd like to see his percentage. I don't know how many of them could go in, but man.
Well, he averaged 19 a game over in Europe this year. So the kid, I'm telling you, kid can play. I had to tag Jenny Buzz. She's going to block me one day because he's.
Mate, the fact that you tag her, it's a done deal.
Yeah, well, she should listen to me. Fuck. I mean, I just bleed purple and yellow, gold, whatever. Canary yellow, my friend.
Hey,
Aussie gold.
Just jump
Go
back.
on, mate. I don't want to talk Lakers anymore, you dick.
I said we're wrapping up. Can't drag it out for another 5. Come on now. Yeah, look, the one piece I'm interested to see what happens with New Orleans is obviously our boy Randall opted out of his $9 million. With all the new additions, heading to New Orleans, I think he's, and obviously, Zion coming in, I think he's looking to spread his wings maybe somewhere else. Any thoughts on Randall?
I actually was talking to an OKC fan. I actually mentioned to him, I said, well, it'd be crazy not to go after Randall.
Their salary is huge. I think they lead the league in, salary, though.
Well, they need to get rid of someone then, because get rid of Schroeder and bring in Randall. They need a power forward.
I got a vibe he might be joining.
Say that again?
The thing I've been keeping my eye on with Randall is what's happening in Brooklyn. I think he either goes to Brooklyn or Phoenix. He's got ties to Booker and D'Lo, and I wouldn't, like I said to you guys in the private chat, I wouldn't be surprised if Phoenix. I think they're headed in a bit of a healthier direction, I'll say.
They couldn't be headed in a worse direction.
Yeah, I know, right?
I mean, they're on life support as we speak.
Yeah, they've just been demoted to the G League, and we'll be having a 29-team NBA season.
Hey, look, just quickly, I feel like Brooklyn have been a little bit disrespectful to D'Lo. I thought all their intentions would be to bring him back, young player, but I feel like all this cheap talk with Irving, and basically they're not going to bring him back if they sign Irving. It's a little bit disrespectful, so I kind of want D'Lo to go.
Yeah, but who are the sources that are saying that, though?
It's gone around, Stu. Keep your ear to the street. You hear things.
Oh, is it? It's not basketball forever, is it?
No. It's not
Oh, no, it's definitely not on Latvia.com. They wouldn't.
Hell, they
wouldn't report such
dribble.
Blasphemy. Dribble. Yeah, I don't know about. Look, sorry, Benson. I love D'Lo, and his health worries me every year. And I also think his speed. He doesn't. It tells on him sometimes.
He had a career year last year.
Yeah, I know that. I do watch NBA. I don't know. Even when he was at the Lakers, I was happy we got him, but sometimes I thought you're a bit slow for mine, for a point guard. But I think he could also be overpaid too. I think he's going to be one dude where someone's just going to overpay him, pay him way too much.
Oh, you're talking about D'Angelo Russell. Fuck, I thought you were talking about Randall. I was like, what?
Nah, dude, talk about fucking D'Lo. I think Randall, I'm telling you, Whoever gets Randall, dude, the guy's a bully. He's a beast. I wish we could bring him back, but he won't come back for a little money.
I really want them both back.
Like I said, D'Lo's pace worries me, his speed, but I'd take him in a heartbeat right now.
Yeah. Oh, man, the draft is Friday. I cannot wait, guys. It's
Is it Friday? I thought it was Thursday. It's Friday, is it?
Well, our Friday.
It is too, yeah. Feeling a bit sick.
You should take the day off. Sicky.
Yeah. I wish I could. If it was in 2 weeks, I'd be on holidays. God damn it.
No, I'm pumped I'm pumped for basketball Christmas this Friday.
It's great, isn't it?
I'm pumped, but I'm more excited about movements and trades and who gets involved, who rolls up their sleeve, and who makes some draft day deals. Because I think, after the top sort of 3 or 4 in this draft, there are a lot of teams who are going to either pick for talent or for what they need. And the boards, there's no consensus. If you look on, ESPN, if you're looking on, True Hoops, it doesn't matter where you look. The board gets messy after about pick 4. So I don't think we're going to be blown away by anything other than trades and movement.
Oh, it's going to be so good. Oh, I can't wait.
I love it. I love it when they... When was the last supposed weak draft? And it turned out to be a pretty good draft, didn't it? I don't think there is such a thing as a weak draft, is there? I mean, the players are out there. You just got to...
Oh, no, there have been some pretty terrible ones, haven't they?
Oh, not since 1983.
Okay.
I have no idea. I'm just talking shit now.
Oh, boy.
Surely, if Michael Olowokandi goes number 1, your draft can't be that good.
Yeah.
Yeah, but who went number 2? That's when the draft started.
Emeka Okafor? I don't know.
No, wasn't he in the Dwight draft?
I think so, yeah.
When Dwight, someone else, Okafor.
No, that was Okafor.
That's what I said, wasn't it?
Oh, I thought you were talking about Olowokandi.
No. We're all old and senile now.
What? Speak up! And it's not Olowokandi, it's Olowokandi. It was great.
Oh, okay. Vince has got jokes.
Had his little candy cane shot. That's what they called it, wasn't it?
Something like that. I'm a bit worried we get a fucking trade Conley to the Jazz and I'm going to end up with shit fucking pieces.
You're getting Morant.
What?
You're getting Morant.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
I just don't want bumfuck Utah pieces for Conley.
You're gonna get something decent for him.
Who are we getting from there? Favors? They're giving us favors? Whoop-de-freaking do.
You got no freaking power forward as we speak.
What do you mean we don't have a power forward? Of course we got a power forward.
Who's your power forward?
JJ?
You're calling him JJ now.
Yeah, why not? We're buddies now.
The same guy that you hated.
I didn't hate. I just said there was a good opportunity to get rid of Parsons, and I was blinded by that.
No,
I've admitted it.
You poo-pooed Jaren Jackson.
I was on the wall, on the fence even.
You were Team Bummer.
He was on the wall.
You were Team Bummer all day.
You were.
He'll pan out, Stu. You watch. I'll have the last laugh on that one.
Hey, he might pan out, but he's not going to be a JJ.
Well, yeah. Hey, interesting news in the Australian camps.
Oh, fantastic.
Interesting. Illawarra Hawks pulling one out of the fucking magic hat, bringing in LaMelo Ball and Aaron Brooks. What the hell?
Come on, you know that old saying.
Everyone says that, Vince.
I'm dying. You're killing me, Wayne. The shit that comes out of your mouth. You just make up phrases,
mate,
sayings.
Look, it's a classic Australian saying.
I'm on the wall. It's not on the fence. He was on the wall.
On the wall. Some thoughts.
Yeah. This is so good for our league. I mean, we are attracting some big names and some quality players. Like Aaron Brooks was a pretty good NBA player. And I think Is it LaMelo? Yeah, Melo's got to be on some guaranteed minutes because his goal is to be the number one pick next year, and he's not coming here if he's not playing.
My only thing is, I hope. Look, and this is, I'm not really referring to these two players in particular, but I hope USA players don't come out here thinking our league's going to be super cruisy because they're going to get exposed pretty quickly, and we've seen it in the past with some imports. Do you know what I mean? Who come to Oz and put pretty subpar efforts in and get exposed pretty quick. And look, these guys have got to bring their A game.
Look, you're going to have the odd American come out and treat it as such. What was that big center the Kings had last year, Benson? Jerome Tyler, was it? Jerome Tyler?
Tyler. Sorry, yep.
Yeah. Didn't little birdie tell you that he just sort of took it as a holiday?
Yes.
Yeah. So I don't think Aaron Brooks is built that way. LaMelo is clearly here to work on his game and play. And the reputation of our league is growing over there.
Yeah.
I don't think we've got anything to worry about.
Yeah, I mean,
Benson.
Oh, look, I mean, LaMelo has to have a big season. I mean, his draft stock rides on it. There's going to be, ESPN's going to be reporting on every stat line that he has in the forthcoming season. So the kid's going to have to be working his ass off, playing hard. He's going to have a target on his back. But I just think it's just so great for our league that we're a destination. Obviously, the money's there as well. I think it's a good sign for the economics as well. Behind the scenes,
well, they upped the salary cap, right, this year?
Yep, but which means obviously there's more bums on seats. As a country, we're falling back in love with our basketball product. I mean, we all saw it that we fell out of love with the NBL through the 2000s.
Yeah.
NBL was huge in the 80s, the 90s, and then it fell off a cliff. And there were poorly managed teams and a poorly managed league. And it's really come of age. And so it says a lot not only about the competition but also the organisational structure of the NBL as well. So I think it can only get better, and particularly as a bit of a show and prove to maybe players who have found their way out of the league, and might want a bit of a change of a destination instead of just playing in the G League. So I think we could get a whole spread of age players, because once Silver removes the age restriction, this won't be a one and done destination as it is being used by the likes of LaMelo. So we've got to keep it up, because if we want to be that draw card, it's not just going to be the one and doneers, because that'll stop soon.
Yeah.
And hey Benson, who's the Kings import this year?
That's a good question.
But I know they've signed someone who bloody escapes me at the moment. Oh, Casper Ware.
Oh, that's right.
right,
We got
yeah.
Casper from.
That was weird signing though, I thought.
There was something else as well.
You don't want a point guard?
No, I'm not saying it was not a good signing. I just thought it was weird that he jumped ship.
Yeah, I thought it was weird that he left as well.
They must have offered him a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
That's the other thing I was going to say. The money here is better than the G League money, surely. I wonder what the difference is.
I don't think the G League money isn't huge. I think it works out to be like $80,000 a season or something.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
And per diems, I think they'd be getting significantly more over here.
Remember Julius Hodge when he played for Melbourne and Adelaide?
Yes.
I think he was getting massive money. It was, don't quote me, but I think it was like 20 between 20 and 40 a month, wasn't it?
Wow.
Something like that. Yeah, that's could be wrong. It was a long time ago, but I just remember hearing he was on massive money.
Yeah, I know it didn't last long, but I know Al Harrington and Josh Childress. Well, Childress lasted long, but they were pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, gentlemen, it's been emotional.
Well, I'm just glad you kept talking, Wayne. You didn't go silent.
You should be
and Benson.
very proud of yourself. It took 8 years to break me. 8 years of recording for me to hang up on you. So 1 in every 8's not too bad, man.
No, that's all right. But, look, Benson, as usual, just brought the fire. Yeah.
Right. And if you want to hear more madness, tune into the Courtside Podcast. You can find all the links and all the information you need at the website, www.crtsde.podbean.com. Guys, down there you'll find links to the show, to our Facebook page where we're operating regularly. And I just want to say congratulations to NBA champ Jeremy Lin. Just because we didn't bring him up earlier.
Hey, it's like the Stephen Bradbury thing, right? Like, he got himself there. He's on that roster. He deserves it.
In your face, Mike D'Antoni. Jeremy Lin got one before Melo.
Yeah, fuck you, Pringles.
Jeremy Lin got one before fucking Mike D'Antoni. That's the important thing.
Yes.
You retire his jersey just for that alone. Put him in the Hall of Fame just for that alone.
Here it comes.